go again. So today I'm on another adventure. Today we're heading to Portland, 5 hours away from me. Bit of a drive, but this is what it takes when you're a photographer for Street Machine. So today I'm heading off to do a feature, obviously for the magazine, and I thought I'd bring you guys along and show you what it takes to actually be a photographer for the magazine and what's involved in getting the shoot done. Something a bit different, something I just had in my mind, and I thought, you know what, that might make a cool edit. So let's have a crack, and yeah, you guys can follow me along for the journey. Alrighty, we've made it to Portland and the weather is beautiful, and here is the car. Just getting set up, and this is the location. It is actually South Coast Raceway in Portland. I've been here several times for Drag Challenge and it is a rad spot to be at, and it's good to be back. So I'm gonna get into the shoot real soon. I'll do some videos as much as I can and show you a little bit of behind the scenes, and then we will get into the editing afterwards. So let's go. Alrighty, we're home and it's time to get stuck into the editing part, which is the final part of the process before I send it off to the magazine and it becomes what you're probably looking at now. I'm only going to show you one photo, how I edit one photo, and that's just because it's kind of the process that's very similar throughout. Now, what I do for this shoot is totally different on the next shoot and the next shoot and the next shoot. It's just how it is. But I'm just going to give you a quick rundown, let you see what I do in the background and what it kind of takes to take a photo from good to amazing. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. I'm going to chuck you guys onto the laptop, or you can see the laptop now. Yeah, alright, I'll talk you through how I go. Now, as you can see from what you're looking at, the car is pretty good. That's my job. I like to make the subject, the focus, and then what happens behind is, you know, what I can make work. So in this instance, driving 5 hours, not having a location to go to, it's hard to, you know, find a spot. So I've worked with what I've got. I'm not stoked on the location. Just the green car and the green trees just didn't work in this instance. But, you know, I'm just going to make it work. Right, so starting with the highlights, I bring them down. It just brings the sky back into the shot. That is kind of what I'm aiming for here. Now I'm going to pull the shadows up a bit, and that is just so I can grab all of the detail from the car as well. And then this is what I consider where I find the magic happens. You'll see the car now comes alive with contrast about there, and that's already starting to look good. Now this here, the tree, I would use Photoshop to delete that, and I probably will. I'm not going to bore you with that part because that's just repetitive stuff. I might do something like this in another day. But essentially, the car's starting to look good. Right, now, from here, I'm going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to add a mask, which is like a vignette, essentially, on the ground. You can't see that. Hang on, let me change it. There we go. We're bringing the exposure down a little bit for the road, just to sort of darken up the road a bit, like a road should be. And I'm going to do one for the sky as well, just to sort of bring a bit more of the detail of the sky back into the shot too, because I was shooting for the car, not for the sky, so sometimes the sky gets a bit forgotten. Now, that's looking better as well. Now, from there, roads tend to always have an orange tinge. See that? Now I've wrote it down so the road looks like a nice black tarmac, how it should. I bump it all the way up, you can see it's a bit orange, it's a bit ugly, so I'm just going to take the orange out of this shot and just make it look a little bit nicer, a bit more natural to the eye, more pleasing. And what else am I going to do here? I might select the subject. So another mask, I'll select the subject. Now obviously that's gone too dark, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring some clarity in, just to sharpen the car up a little bit, and just bring a bit more of that detail back into the shot. From there, it's looking a little bit cold, so I might just work on the temperature and just warm it up a touch, because another thing I do is I remember how a car looks. I actually have a history in commercial printing is actually my trade, and so I've got a bit of a thing for colours, and I remember how a car looks, and I like to make sure that when it comes to me doing the edit, the car looks exactly like it should look. Now, so I've just brought the warmth up a little bit because it was a bit more like that on the day. Now, cameras, you can actually change the light in cameras, but I always just leave it on auto, and then I just make the adjustments for how my eyes feel about it. Now, that's looking pretty good. The only other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this spot healing tool, or the Band-Aid tool, and that essentially, I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to find little specks in the road that they're just distracting. I want you to look at the car. I don't want you to look at the background as much. I want the car to be the focus. So any little rocks or pebbles or cigarette butts in some instances, not the case here because I was at a drag strip, but just little things that bug me, I'm just going to get rid of. That's starting to look better now. I really don't like this crack in the wall, so I'm going to get rid of that as well, just to make it, you know, really pleasing on the eye and nice and clean. Now, that's starting to look really, really good. I'm very happy with that. Now, other than this tree here that I'll delete in Photoshop, that's roughly it. Now, what I do isn't exactly what everyone does. Don't take my layout like it's going to work for you, because if you don't get, you know, the subject right in camera first, then you're probably not going to be able to work with all of the options that you have in Lightroom or Photoshop. So, you know, this is just a rough guide, and I hope it helps. If you like it, let me know. And yeah, I might go into more detail in another video, and just, you know, if people want to see it, then maybe I will be a little bit boring and do a longer version of it. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. This will be out probably when the magazine is out, so please go buy Street Machine and have a look at the shoot in its full. And yeah, I'll flick in a few photos now just to show you what happened in the finished results. Enjoy. See ya.